Games are meant to be, in most cases, enjoyed with other people. Multiplayer games are the main reason people are in the hobby. And so today I am going to give you a long list of different multiplayer games that I really enjoy getting to the table. Hello and welcome back everyone, I am the Board Game Fanatic, and due to how much people seem to have liked my solo version of this video, I'm now going to be doing my favourite multiplayer games and give you a whole list of titles that I think are great for when the player count is more than one. So let's get started. Dice Forge is a very cool game that I like a lot. In it you have a pair of dice that are customizable. The faces themselves can be removed, prized out. And over the course of the game you're going to be buying new faces to fit on your dice, and you'll be replacing the existing ones. At the start of the game, these faces, they generate you lower quantities of resources. They're very basic. However, the ones that you will purchase will get more powerful, will bringing more resources, will generate you victory points, and you're going to be throughout the game buying either cards or new faces that will ultimately try and get you the most victory points. There is nothing in my collection quite like it. No game I have allows me to customize the faces of the dice like Dice Forge does. It really is standout. That marketplace in the middle where you buy the new faces, you'll be competing against the other players to get the ones that you want. They might buy the one you want before you, so there's a bit of competitiveness from that side. Generally the game is pretty easy to understand, so it is one that I really enjoy getting out. XCOM the board game is a wicked title where they have taken the video game and adapted it to the tabletop, and in this particular game it functions entirely off the app. In it you will all be the commanders of the XCOM corporation. You'll be fulfilling different roles, whether you're in charge of the soldiers going out on missions, whether you're the top researcher choosing which projects, whether you're the commander himself who's making the ultimate decisions and managing the XCOM budget, or you could be the communications officer who manages the app and deals with the satellites. There's a lot going on in this game, and it is so well implemented as an app game. I love it to bits. This is probably one of my favourite app games to date. It's a tense game. It's really going to be nail biting. Every single turn when something happens, you're reacting to it. You're not proactive so much in this game as more as reacting to everything happening around you. Where are the aliens attacking? Where are they going? What do we need to deploy at the base to defend it? What do we need to do to try and increase our chances of passing tests? What tech do we need to research? Everything you do is a reaction. You are fighting against the enemy who is stronger and more numerous. Just a phenomenal title and one of my favourite app implementations. The Thing Infection at Outpost 31, based on the movie, is another adaptation of an existing IP, and it's a very fun one. For me, this is a party game. This is not a serious board game. Although you're doing stuff on the board, I feel it's a bit superfluous at times. So it must be stated, this is a party game. And in it, you're going to be doing what happens in the movie. Essentially, you're all trapped with an alien monster that's going around killing you all one at a time, pretending to be one of you, and you need to figure out who they are by the end of the game. So at the start, you're going to be dealt random roles. Someone's going to be the monster, the rest of you are going to be normal humans. And over the course of the game, you're going to be dealing with crises. You're going to move from room to room. You're going to try and fix situations and work cooperatively, all whilst someone amongst you is trying to foil your plans. You need to try and figure out who that is by the time you get to the rescue helicopter at the end, because at that point you're going to have to socially decide who you think is the enemy amongst you. And this is a fun game. This is a social game. You will be laughing and joking a lot. You'll be accusing one another. You'll be scrambling to use the flamethrower on one another because you suspect that they're the monster. But at the end of the game, you must make the right call, because if you don't, they get on the helicopter with you and you lose the game. This game is going to get a review from me because I love it. However, it's not one I can easily recommend for everybody, but for myself, with my passion for the movie, I love getting this game out, and we really enjoy having a good laugh, accusing one another. It's just a remarkable game, an excellent execution of the IP. The Godfather Corleone's Empire is a game from Simon, and it's one that appeals to me a lot because it's the traditional gangster theme. I'm a huge fan of that in movies and games, and it is a brilliant title. It's an area control title where you're all fighting over the city in the centre of the board, and you'll be trying to take control of different districts, and each of the districts will offer you certain bonuses for taking them. Throughout the course of the game, you're going to have a plethora of cards which are missions for you to complete, whether you need to get guns or drugs. You've got to collect the components you need to complete the mission and gain the reward. And over the course of the game, you're going to be trying to get as much money as you can and store it away for the end game's final score. Any money you put in your chest will be there at the end and will count as victory points. It's really fun, especially when you're fighting one another and sending each other's minions into the river, which is essentially they've been shot, killed, and the body's been dumped in the river. It's very fun. It's a very competitive title. You're going to be playing aggressively against everybody else at the table, and I just don't get it to the table enough. I like this game so much. It's very well designed and underrated in my opinion. Dead of Winter is a very cool title where you are managing an enclave of survivors in a zombie apocalypse. You're going to be going out collecting resources, fighting zombies, searching for supplies that you need for whatever objectives or crises you have to deal with, and all whilst dealing with other threats beyond just the undead. The freezing cold and frostbite can be one of the worst things out there. I've lost many characters to the frostbite. It's a very well designed game. It has the crossroads system, and I think this was the first one that had that, where certain characters at certain locations or certain people meeting can trigger story events. And I just love the narrative of this game. I tend not to use the betrayal mechanic because there is a betrayal system if you want to use that. I do enjoy just the core game, working together cooperatively, fighting the undead, trying to survive, trying to scrape up enough food for everybody who's at the colony, and trying to hold off the undead from overrunning all the locations or even just the main base itself. I really think this is an outstanding game. Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition specifically. This game will utilise an app, whether on your phone or a handheld device, where you're going to be going through various scenarios in a horror themed setting. You're going to be going in as a cooperative group, trying to solve the case, trying to figure out what's going on, whether they're being attacked by monsters, whether there's someone doing some dodgy dealings behind the scenes. You're going to be going in there, interacting with characters, you're going to be fighting against enemies, you're going to be searching for gear, finding clues, and trying to unravel the story around you as you play. I really enjoy the detective atmosphere that you get playing this game cooperatively as a group. You all get pulled in as you try to unravel the secrets and unravel the story together. Not to mention the tension when a creature appears and you have to deal with it. It really is a brilliant way to bring an application to the table with a board game, and they work seamlessly together. It can be a little tricky with some of the menus, I think, if you're not used to it, but once you've got into the rhythm of a game, you'll be blasting through this every time. It's very well designed, it's interesting, it's puzzly. You've got to do all the normal stuff. You don't want to split up and be on your own if anything goes wrong or you encounter anything. Everybody thoroughly enjoys this when we get it out. Spartacus, a game of blood and treachery. I got this because I enjoyed the TV show at the time, and I bought the original version, which is the left hand side. The right hand side has been a recent refresh, which is probably a good thing, to be fair, because you'll probably get nicer artwork rather than still images. But in Spartacus you are different nobility, different houses within Rome itself, and you will all be trying to send gladiators to the arena to win battles and win you victory points. You're going to be playing cards against the other houses, you're going to be competing against them, you're going to be chucking dice when you do battle and send your fighters into the arena, and those that don't take part in these battles will get to bid and bet on the outcomes. So you will also have a stake in the outcome itself. You're going to be putting money down and guessing who you think is going to win the fight. And this is a really enjoyable system. I like the player interaction in this game. There is definitely player interaction through subterfuge and backstabbing, and then obviously when you get your fighters in the arena, there's a lot of enjoyment out of being the one that wins the fight, that makes the final kill, and it brings out a great social atmosphere. I really like it. I'm not sure how much has changed in the refresh. As far as I'm aware, I believe it's just a reskin of the actual game itself, but it's just a phenomenally great title, and we've had some great memories playing this. I love just building up my house and building up my gladiators and buying better gladiators and then sending them into the arena and hopefully being the house that comes out on top. Alright, so let's quick fire off 5 games I've already discussed in other videos, so there's no need to go into huge detail. Survive Escape from Atlantis is great, trying to get all your people to escape the sinking city, and you'll be competing against everybody else at the table. Really fun game. Zombicide, obviously, it's a great cooperative title where you work together to fight off hordes of zombies and achieve your target. Planet, building your own world with magnetic tiles and encouraging animal species to choose your world over everybody else at the table. It's a beautiful game, and a physical one where you're moving the part around the entire session, trying to puzzly fit all of the pieces to where you want them to achieve your specific goals. Then there's Explorers of the North Sea, and essentially you're a Viking clan going out, exploring the world, pillaging and erecting settlements and bringing new livestock back to the mainland. Great game. Nemesis, I mentioned this in my solo video, exactly the same for multiplayer. This is Aliens, or Alien the movie, brought to a board game format, and it executes it so well. Such a great game. Right, Dead by Daylight. I've played this video game a lot, and as soon as I knew that there was a board game adaptation coming, I backed it. In it, you're essentially going to be 4 survivors trying to escape the killer as he tries to hunt you down. And in this game, you can play either the killer, or you can play as the survivors themselves. So that means you can have up to 5 people playing. If you've got less, then they can control multiple survivors. You'll be doing exactly what you do in the video game title. You're trying to survive and trying to make your way to the exit gates and get out before the killer gets you all. And I've got to say that it's really impressed me. Now don't get me wrong, a lot of the horror elements of the video game can't be brought into board game format. Even so, this game is a great laugh, and it's really puzzly. I like avoiding the killer and trying to maneuver away from them whilst you're doing your objectives. And I don't feel we've played this game enough, but nevertheless it's left an impact on me to the point where I rate it very highly. It's got a good design, it's got good mechanisms within it, including where you explore the map and find out where items are. That's a very good way to implement it in this game, and it makes sense thematically from the video game perspective. But the gameplay is fun, it's streamlined, it's simple, it's easy to remember, and can get people playing it relatively quickly. Love this game a lot, and I want to play it more and more. Ankh, Gods of Egypt. Now, I like Blood Rage, but the Egyptian theme pulls me in personally a lot more, and I couldn't wait to paint these miniatures. But we got the game, we played it, we thoroughly enjoyed it. Now I've got to say this caveat, we've not played with the merge mechanic. I don't like that idea, and I don't think any of my family would like that either, so that's a little house rule we use. But apart from that, we play the game to the end as our individual gods, and we all really enjoy it. We like fighting over the board and taking areas of the battlefield and trying to declare a little empire. We like the battling and the constant struggle to win. When it's on the table, it has presence. It really stands out. And the Egyptian theme pulled me in. I like Ankh a lot, and we're going to be playing it a lot. Foundations of Rome is a glammed up board game with huge city pieces, a brilliant look. You've got a city in front of you, you've got Rome in front of you, ancient Rome, and it looks lovely. It is overproduced, that has to be an honest bit of feedback. Nevertheless, the core gameplay itself is phenomenally great. It's easy, it's simple, but yet it's puzzly. You're going to think out your turns, you're going to be planning ahead strategically, and you're going to be fighting against the other people to get the plots that you want to erect the buildings and build up the city and gain your victory points by whichever route you choose. It's a great game, and they adapted it into a more retail-friendly copy, which is Foundations of Metropolis, I believe. Zoo Tycoon the board game is another video game adaptation, and this one has been done astonishingly well. I wanted a board game where I could be the park manager and manage a modern day zoo with all different myriads of wildlife. I've got Dinogenics, which covers the dinosaur theme perfectly. It's my favourite park builder. Zoo Tycoon does with this theme exactly what I wanted. It gives me the same feeling, but with a modern day animal zoo. Sadly though, it must be stated, this game is not simple. It's not one I can easily recommend because there's a lot to learn. It's a large rulebook, and there's a lot of little nuances and little mechanisms that you need to understand before you can really enjoy this game. The difficulty comes in managing and knowing what all the little icons and all the little mechanisms do for your animals. You've got to have the right amount of shelters. You've got to provide the right amount of tile space. You want to breed more animals. You've got to get a male and a female of that species. And then you've got to roll and see if your animals do breed. And then you've got the trading market where you can get the animals you want and trade animals that you no longer need. And they might not have the gender that you need. It's very deep. There's a lot going on in this game. It gives me a zoo experience that I wanted, and I really enjoy it every time we get it out. It's just not the easiest game to teach people, but once they understand it, it should stick with them. Right, we're going back to a classic here, Talisman. And this is one of the original board games my mum bought me when I was a kid. The older edition I got. I mean, obviously, yes, it's outdated mechanically. The game itself and how it works is long past its prime. It's a roll and move, and you draw a card, resolve it. It's very basic systems. Sometimes you just need a simple game, a good designed one like this. And Talisman is a competitive title. You'll be racing to get to the middle, claim the talisman and get to the centre of the board. A lot harder than it sounds, and there can be a lot of luck in it too, but regardless of that, we still enjoy the experience. And, well, it's pretty much Dungeons and Dragons. Go out, fight monsters, get powerful spells, and encounter interesting locations. I bought all the expansions for this game, which can be a bit too much if you set it all up, but I wanted them because of how much I liked it. Right, so this is a big one. Twilight Imperium. Now, I don't have the 4th edition, which you can see pictured. This is the one I'd recommend you get if you do want to try this game. I have the previous edition, and I've got no immediate need to upgrade to the new one. Twilight Imperium is a Space Empire 4X humongous game that, let's be frank, can take hours. Maybe even a day's commitment, or even 2 days, depending on how big your galaxy and your group is. This is not a small title, and it is not one I would recommend to anybody. When I walked into that shop in my local store years ago, when I saw Twilight Imperium 3rd edition on the shelf, I went in there multiple times, and every time I go up to it. And the day I picked it up, learnt the rules, and then we played it the weekend after, it blew my mind. It blew my mind. As somebody who loves strategy games and has played them on PC all my life, all the way back to Age of Empires and before, to get a Space 4X game like Twilight Imperium and be able to enjoy that with my group, it's made some incredible memories. Incredible memories. I love this game. It's complicated, it's got depth. You've got politics and intrigue as you lie or remain honest to those at the table. You build your empire from the ground up. You explore. You try to colonize and conquer if you're fighting your opponents. You're upgrading your technology. You're building large fleets. This game has everything I want from an epic sci-fi game. Everything. This game is perfect to me. The only problem is how much time it takes. If only you could get that experience in such a small amount of time. So, for me, Twilight Imperium is a game I can't wait to get out over and over and over again. I adore it. Right, Risk Legacy. Legacy games is still something my group hasn't delved into too much. We've got Pandemic, we haven't played it yet properly. And I've got a couple of other Legacy games we've started, but we haven't completed any. Risk Legacy was the first one that hit home and we liked after a couple of play sessions. And we played it to the end. We have completed Risk Legacy. We have our own unique world from the end of the campaign. And every time we got Risk Legacy out, it was an enjoyable session. You're essentially just playing Risk, but over the course of the game you're going to unlock powers, you're going to unlock special board effects, and you're going to unlock new factions. It's really stand out. The experience that this had is by far my favourite Legacy experience to date, and I'm new to this Legacy thing, so I can't tell you all the best ones, but Risk really did it for me, and I don't think any game is going to beat the experiences we've had with it. Rats to Riches is not something I had high hopes for, but when we played it as a family, we really, really enjoyed it. In it, you are essentially a society of rats. You're going to be building up your little empire. You're all essentially gangs, and you're going to be building up your empire, trying to be, as it says on the cover, the big cheese. You'll be trying to accumulate the most wealth. It's just hilarious fun. There'll be backstabbing, betrayal, and you'll be building a little empire with your structures and buildings and cards that you play. And I rate it very highly. If you get the most influence, you'll become the mafia leader of certain colours. There are 3 different colours of cheese in the game, and these are your currencies. You've got the red, green and blue, and as I said, the currencies to buy new cards. You need to have the right ones so you need to accumulate them. If you have the most of certain ones, you might become the mafia boss of that said cheese. It's just silly, but very funny. Flicky Spaceships is going to be a hard game for people to get. We were visiting the UK Games Expo for the first time. We saw people playing this and we were intrigued. We wanted to try it. And me and my family, the whole group, were trying to track down a copy. We couldn't find one. A couple of years later, we managed to get one, revisiting the UK Games Expo, and wow, this game is right up our street. As I said, I think it went under the radar. I don't think it was very popular. But for us, this is how you do a flicky game. You've got the spaceship theme, it's enjoyable, you're collecting resources and upgrading your ship with new weapons or tech. It really is a cool design, but made welcoming for families. Even kids could play this. It's got a great look, great art, and it's the flicky game that I think I've enjoyed the most in my life to date. Right, so we'll do another bunch of quickfire games that I've covered before, so there's no need to go into detail. Thunderbirds is a pandemic style game where you're working together cooperatively to deal with numerous crises cropping up across the board, and you're going to be trying to deal with all of those whilst you're trying to contend with the villains' masterminds' evil plans. Dinogenics, you are essentially building your own Jurassic Park. It is my favourite dinosaur park game. I do have a few. This is the one that's the standout one. It has a beautiful table presence. It has a great design overall that's accessible. Great title. Monster Hunter, obviously you're going out hunting various monsters, working cooperatively in doing essentially large boss battles against huge creatures. Very good game. Xenoshift Dreadmire, you're going to be playing a deck building game whilst numerous monsters are assailing your base in a sci-fi setting, and these are very horrific monsters with very powerful effects. You need to equip your troops and make sure they're geared and ready to hold off these creatures. Dirge is an area control game where you're going to be trying to spread your religion across the board in a fantasy world, and you are going to be using monsters and divine abilities to boost your religion's spread and influence across the board. So King of Tokyo, one of the older games in my collection, is obviously a family friendly title, but nevertheless it's a great laugh to play. You are essentially doing Yahtzee, or you get 3 rolls to get whatever it is you're trying to achieve. Whether you want to attack the other monster, whether you want to get points, or whether you want to heal. There's a variety of different effects, but the actual rules to the game are very light and very welcoming. You essentially roll the dice and do what you get by the end of the 3rd roll. And obviously you are fighting as huge creatures over a cityscape. You are Godzilla, King Kong, or their equivalents essentially, and you're going to be trying to wrestle control of this city. Whoever's in the middle is going to become a target to everybody else on the outskirts of the city. When the person in the middle has taken a beating and they're ready to pull out and to start to heal, they will jump out. Whoever did damage to them last will jump into the middle, and you'll continue this cycle of trying to push your luck in the middle of the board and get as many victory points as you can, whilst trying to stay alive as all the other players attack you. Whoever's in the middle will gain victory points faster, but they're target number 1 to everybody else. Talking about gorgeous games, we have Canopy, and this is one of those games where the artwork is phenomenal. Alright, it's standout. The artwork for this game is what brought me in and sold me on the Kickstarter campaign. It's an accessible game where you're essentially building out a little rainforest in front of you. You'll be growing trees, you'll be gaining vegetation and flora to go into your rainforest. You'll be trying to collect special animals and species that are native to those zones. And at the end of the game, whoever has the most points through various different means will be the winner. Wallace and Grommit Fleeced. I grew up on Wallace and Grommit, and I only bought this game because I enjoy those original shorts or movies, and this is actually quite a fun title. It's an old roll and move board game, so obviously some of the mechanics are a bit outdated. However, it's an interesting one because you've got to not only collect these sheep, you are rustling these sheep as it says per the name, but you're going to be trying to steal them from the other players. And that's where there's a lot of player interaction in this game. You're going to run up to the other players at the end of their conga line of sheep. If you can land at the very back, you can run away with some of their sheep. And it ends up being hilarious when everybody's diving on one another, running off in all directions, dragging the sheep away. It can be brutal and it can suffer to bad luck. Even so, the enjoyment we've had out of this has been worth the cost. And I'm glad I got this on eBay second hand. Formula D is the racing game that I always wanted. In it, you're going to be managing the speed of your car through your gearbox, going up and down the various gears as you approach corners or hit long straights. And you're going to be choosing the one that's appropriate for you. You want your car to go fast or slow. As you get into those corners, you really need to start thinking about slowing down, because going in too fast is going to career you off and cause your car to crash. So this game does exactly what you would do in a normal race. You slow down for the corners, you manoeuvre around slowly, and off you go. I love how it's executed that perfectly. I enjoy getting this to the table. It looks nice, it has a great presentation, simple components, and it's easy enough to play if you stick to the simple mode. Now this is going to be a unique one that I don't think any of you might know. Star Trek Tactical Combat Simulator. This is an old one, very old one. It was designed originally for the Star Trek role-playing game a long time ago from Farsa. And this is my quintessential, my number one spaceship battles game. This simulates spaceship battles so well. You are managing the power of your vessel. You are powering up all the different systems, your weapons, your shields. Your maneuverability is determined by how much power you put into your engines. There's so much detail that's gone into this game, and this was just a system within the Star Trek role-playing game. So much detail and depth that's gone into this that I consider it in my own right a game unto itself, and I would not recommend it to anyone because of how old it is and how difficult it might be to get and how niche it might be now, because obviously this is old Trek, the Star Trek I grew up on, the Star Trek that I love, but this game has given me so many memories in the past. Family were playing this when I was a little kid. They then taught it me as I got older. It's been with my family group for a very long time, and it's had a profound impact on our gaming experiences throughout the years. I rate this exponentially high because it's so deep. There's a lot going on in it. This is not an easy game. There's a lot of little nuances. You have to understand how to power your vessel, how to do battle, how to position yourself. But regardless, this is, for me, a very highly regarded game that we look forward to getting into time and time again. Right, Dodo's riding dinos. I got this just because it was funny. You know I like dinosaurs by now. And I don't mind dodos either. I think it's kind of sad that they don't exist anymore. But when I saw this game, it brought a smile to my face. The silly artwork, the funny miniatures, I really couldn't wait to get them to paint, which I did for the first box. This game is right up our street. It's a simple filler game. It's not going to be a heavy, complex game for the evening. But this is something you can do as a little filler session or a warm-up game, or just for the day when you want to play something light-hearted. And essentially, you roll the dice, you move, and you want to be the first to cross the finish. This is probably my second most popular racing game in my collection. And it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's funny, it's humorous, entertaining, can be brutal at times, it can be really harsh, but it definitely is quite fun, especially when you're actually throwing little components into the arena, trying to hit one another and knock each other back by various powers and effects. Great game. Company of Heroes is a game I'm going to go into a lot in the future. I really like this, and multiplayer is where it shines for me. Although I enjoy the solo mode, I enjoy it a lot, I enjoy more the aspect of getting other people to the table to fight against, because then you're working against another mind and you're not following the preset AI instructions. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what their objectives are, and I like that. I like the unpredictability of my opponents, and I just enjoy this gameplay so much. manoeuvring my troops into positions, trying to seize objectives, managing my resources, trying to capture control points. I think this is unparalleled in my collection. This is up there, very high. It does the World War II theme a great service. Solar Storm is an awesome and tense pandemic-style game condensed into a smaller format. Your ship is being pulled into the sun and you need to escape. And you've got to do that by working cooperatively with everybody else to repair the vessel and power up the main core so you can escape the gravity. And it's a really challenging one. I think personally one of the most important rooms in this game is the armory. I always go there. I always use the armory to protect the other rooms from incoming damage. But it's an epic little sci-fi game where you and everybody else at the table are trying to desperately hold the ship together. Trial by Trolley is a difficult one to recommend, but one that always results in laughter for my group. However, in this day and age, people are offended and upset by a lot of stuff, and Trial by Trolley might not be the perfect mix for a lot of groups out there. But in it, essentially, you're working as two teams, and you have two railways, two tracks, and a train is approaching, and it's going to run one track down. So no matter what happens, somebody's going to die in this situation. Yeah, you have to convince the person who's operating the train which track to go down and sacrifice people on. Yeah. And it's silly. It's done in a very silly context. This is not serious. People should enjoy this for what it is, which is a joke. And you're going to be putting things down like Godzilla. And you're going to be putting down a terrorist. Serious things like that. A whole plethora of different things. Yeah? Serious and silly. Yeah? And although this game wants you to believe things like Godzilla is a bad thing, someone puts Godzilla or a T-Rex on the line, and I'm like, whoa, you're telling me we've got a live T-Rex and Godzilla on the loose? The other line's not looking very good right now, you know? And it's meant to be just a silly game that people can enjoy. But as I said, I think it's going to be a difficult one for people to really be recommended, because you've got to just be really relaxed and not take it too seriously. A couple more quickfire mentions, games that I've covered in other videos, so there's no need to go into detail. Catch the Moon is a stacking game where you're stacking ladders, and you want to be the last person with the least tiers. Every time you cause a collapse, you get a tier. Double is a game of speed and visual acuity. You need to match the symbols and get all your cards down first. Sauria, you're trying to escape the dinosaurs and survive the island. Think Jurassic Park. In Splendid Marvel, you're going to be building a engine over the course of the game, collecting various poker chips of colours that you need to recruit better heroes till eventually you get to the final goal. Dungeon Mayhem is a party game where you are battling everyone at the table and you want to be the last survivor. Play cards, do damage, try and heal, try and stay alive, and try to be the last one. Mikey Stag, stack of the stuff as per the picture, but be the fastest team. Easier said than done. Star Wars Rebellion is a epic game where you are essentially doing the movies. You are either the Empire or the Rebellion, and you are against each other. The Empire is trying to hunt down the Rebel base, and the Rebels are trying to outlast the situation and make the best of it and defeat the Empire. And they do this by fulfilling various objectives. This is like Twilight Imperium Commitment. It's a large game. It's going to take you a while. There's so many positive qualities around it. I like this game for various different reasons. The way that they handle recruiting units, you've got to control worlds, and then you don't just recruit them instantly. I don't just go, I buy a Star Destroyer and it pops on the board. I've got to wait for that to be built, and in the meantime I'm still going out trying to hunt the rebels. And if I'm the rebels, I'm trying to make sure that my fleets don't engage the Empire in open battle, because I'm not going to win. There is no open warfare in this game. You are a rebellion, you are on the run. You're trying to do hit and runs, you're trying to avoid them at all costs. Trying to manage with what little resources you can rummage together. Star Wars Rebellion does the original movies a great justice. I like it. And at 4 players you can split the load. You can share out all of the components and forces you have on the board to make it a little easier. And I like this. I like getting more people involved in the game. Even though it's just really designed to be a 2-player game, I think it works okay with 4. Borgata is a game that I had low expectations for. I got it on Kickstarter and I didn't know what to expect. I just liked the premise, the Mafia theme. But when we got it and I realised it was a deck building game, by this point I'd already encountered a few other deck building titles. We played it and we had turf wars over the different neighbourhoods. Wow. this is a good game. Now, it's not perfect, but for my group, we enjoy getting it out. We enjoy collecting different items and equipment to give out to your henchmen. We like training up your henchmen and getting them to higher levels, getting better henchmen, getting to the point where you've got high quality soldiers to send out to fight over these different territories. It's a good game that doesn't stay on the table too long. It has a good game length. Possibly my favourite game of all time is Shogun. I'm a huge fan of strategy, as you probably already know, and Total Wars was something I grew up with, including Shogun Total War and Rome Total War. And Shogun allows me to have that Shogun Total War feeling. We are the different factions of medieval Japan. We are fighting over control of the whole Japanese island, and we will be doing battle against each other. And this game introduces some really cool systems that aren't found in any other places, apart from obviously the game that preceded it. But the Shogun Battle Tower is phenomenally great. Just perfect, because it adds a lot of tension. You can march an army against your opponent and send 10 units against their 3, and you could still come out the loser. And yes, you will lose that fight, but the cubes that don't come out can come out in later battles and benefit you later. It's very, very intricate and very interesting and engaging, and it adds a lot of suspense. Every time somebody does battle, you don't know if a green cube's going to come out and help you, or if some of the cubes that fell in the tower from the previous battles are still in there and they're going to come out and edge things towards your victory. I like managing my empire and trying to build an empire on the Japanese continent, managing my food, managing my taxes and the unrest, and making sure that they stay happy, all my provinces, whilst also trying to keep my borders strong and well defended. Shogun is a game that I will be doing a review for. I wish we had more time to play it. I really wish we did, because it is one of the early games I got that has stuck around, that has always been enjoyable. The only negative I can say about it is just the length of the game. It is like Twilight Imperium. For us, it is a commitment. And if we're really getting into it and we're really enjoying it, you play 2 years normally in the standard game, 4 seasons each year, and then it ends and it's whoever's got the most points wins. Sometimes we don't want it to end so quickly, you know? Sometimes we are enjoying it, we want it to last longer. But that's not a fault of the game. That's how they've designed the game. We just enjoy playing it that much. Star Trek Ascendancy fills that exact same niche as Shogun, as Risk, as Twilight Imperium. It is a conquest game in the Star Trek universe. You will be building your empires and trying to ascend. Now, you do have other alternatives. You can play diplomatically, you can play peaceful, but the game is about building an empire and ascending your species to a higher level, and it executes it very, very well. It's a great design. Right, so a couple of other games I've played a lot that aren't in my collection, but the group as a whole has. Number 1 is Terraforming Mars. I've played this many times. I've played it at clubs. I've played it with my family, and I enjoy the premise. Settling and colonising and essentially terraforming Mars itself. A great game. Well designed. There's a lot to think about though. And I think it's a game that rewards you playing over and over again. You're not going to be good at this the first time you play. Transatlantic is a game about shipping and owning the best network worldwide. You're going to be buying better ships, getting better cards throughout the course of the game. It's absolutely gorgeous artwork. And obviously it's based on history. These ships, these vessels existed. And I think it's just a standout setting. There's not many games we played with this setting that we all enjoy, and this one is really does look good on the table, and I enjoy playing it. Rival Restaurants, another standout one. My mum picked this up and I didn't know anything about it. I'd heard of it in name, but after we played this, wow, what a cool game. Rival restaurants, you are essentially a restaurant manager. You're going to be making different recipes, but you have to go and collect the ingredients from the central board. You have to buy the ingredients, manage your money, and then you have to cook the recipes and present them for victory points. And you're going to be doing this against all the other restaurants. You're going to be competing, trying to get the ingredients you need for your meal. You're going to be trading and haggling with other people at the table, saying, oh, I'll give you this bread if you give me this, because I need this for my restaurant. And it's going to have a lot of player interaction. You're going to be working with one another, negotiating, and obviously you're still competitive. You're still trying to beat them. Great game. Right, you'll see some special mentions pop up on screen now. I'm not going to go into any detail about them because I already know we enjoy these titles. We just need to play them more and more before they make this list. And it's been a long list, so thank you very much for sticking around and watching. Obviously, I enjoy playing games with other people as much as I enjoy solo games. And all these games I've mentioned today, I thoroughly enjoy getting them out and having a blast with. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video today. I hope you've enjoyed learning about all the different games that I like. And I will do top 10s eventually, but I think a lot of thought needs to go into that. Please leave a comment. Let me know what games you love to play multiplayer with other people. Let everybody else know. Let's have some discussions about some great titles. Maybe there's many that I've missed off that you like. And please subscribe and hit the like. And I'll see you all next time.